Well, hello, beautiful people. Beautiful people. Good day to all of you. Okay, so what we're going to do in today's training is we're going to go to changenow.io. Changenow.io. Now, what we're going to attempt to do is to buy Flair coming off the street with a debit card. Now, it may be that when we go to changenow.io, Flare may not be available to be purchased. Sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. So, as a worst case, we'll look to buy another asset, maybe like Bitcoin, because with changenow.io, we can do a couple of things. We can buy, we can sell cryptocurrency assets, or we can exchange or convert or swap. All right. I'm saying the same thing. So if I say exchange or swap or convert, I'm saying the same thing. Okay. All right. I never knew Croatia was so beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So let's go on and go to work. We're going to changenow.io. Okay, family. So just in case you needed the URL, there it is right there, changenow.io. All right. So as I mentioned before, we can use this for a couple of different purposes. We can exchange, swap, convert cryptocurrency. So let's say you already had some Bitcoin and you wanted to swap that, exchange that for Flare. Then you would, here's your Bitcoin here, and you would come down here and you would simply press the down arrow and you would put in Flare. FLR is the symbol. Okay. So we could do that under exchange crypto. Or what we're going to attempt to do on this video is buy some crypto. So I'm going to left click here. Now I'm going to do $50. Now I tell you what, I actually did this not long ago, but my recording was horrible. My audio was bad. So just so that my bank doesn't think that it's a fraudulent transaction, I'm going to do $52. I did a $50 transaction with the bad audio. Let's do 52 now. Okay. All right. So now um, we're going to use US dollars, but you use whatever your currency is, whatever your fiat currency is. So you can see whether it's Australian dollars or Canadian dollars or Euro dollars or Great British Pound, or if you are in Argentina, all right, the Argentine peso, okay. If you are in Bermuda, the Bermudan or Bermuda, I messed it up. You get my point, okay? All right. So I'm going to use US dollar, and I'm going to come and see if we can get a Flare transaction. Sometimes Flare is available, sometimes it is not. I'm going to left click here with Flare, and right now it is not. So it says trading pair is not available now. Please check back later. Okay. All right. So instead of doing that, I'm going to do Bitcoin. I'm going to left click on Bitcoin here. So this shows the amount of Bitcoin that I would be receiving. Okay. I'm going to click on where it says buy. Okay. And so now what's going to happen is I've got the $52. I've got the Bitcoin. I need to put in a Bitcoin payout address. Now, if you are newer to the cryptocurrency space and you're saying, well, what's that? I don't have a Bitcoin address. I'm going to strongly recommend that you set up a system called Exodus.io, or it may be Exodus.com now. So let's give me just a moment. Okay, Exodus.com. Okay. All right. And many of you already have an Exodus account, and you would simply click where it says download, and you would be able to download Exodus to your computer or to your phone. Now, I'm a computer dude, so all of my training for the most part is going to come from a computer as opposed to the phone. Now, do make sure when you're setting up Exodus that you make a note of the 12 words. So you're going to get 12 words here. That's going to be the combination to your safe. Another platform that you could also use, which is what I'm actually going to use in today's training, is Atomic Wallet. So Atomic Wallet, it works a lot like Exodus. And it is atomicwallet.com. atomic.io. So it works a lot like Exodus. Now, the reason I'm going to use Atomic for this particular training is because I have some Bitcoin in my Exodus wallet. Okay, and I don't want to show that on screen. I have very little Bitcoin in my Atomic wallet. Okay, and so that's why I'm using Atomic Wallet for today's training. I'm a big fan of both Exodus and Atomic Wallet. Atomicwallet.io. Okay? All right. So give me just a moment and I'm going to go and grab my Bitcoin address so that we can effect this purchase. Give me a moment. Okay, so I'm in my Atomic wallet, and you can see that with Bitcoin, I have very little in Bitcoin. I've got like 46 cents worth of Bitcoin. So it'll be very easy to see once I purchase Bitcoin and send it over to Atomic Wallet. So what we're going to do, all right. So why are we buying Bitcoin again? Because we can't buy Flare. All right, we attempted to buy Flare initially, and it said that Flare was not available. All right, with this particular platform. Okay. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting my Bitcoin payout address, and so I'm going to go and grab that Bitcoin address. All right, so coming back to Atomic Wallet. I'm clicking on Bitcoin. Now, it would work a lot like this if you were using Exodus. I'm going to click where it says receive. This is where I'm going to get my address. Now, I'm going to block out enough of my address to keep my account safe or to keep my Bitcoin address safe. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it back over to change now and paste. And again, I'll blank out enough information. Now, I always like to double check. So I like to look at the first 4 or 5 digits on the front end. All right, compare that to the wallet address that I just copied. Make sure that's correct. All right, and again, you may not see this, obviously. Um, and then I also like to look at the last 4 or 5 digits on the back end, and just to make sure. All right, and it is the same. Okay, now you're going to see here that I've got payment offers. So I can use either a third-party system called Transact to do the transaction, or I can do Simplex to do the transaction. You can see what's the difference, that Transact gives me a slightly better deal. I'm getting a little more Bitcoin for my $52 than I would be if I was doing Simplex. Okay, so I'm going to do Transact. Now, I will say this, that with Transact, I have already approved. I've already passed their KYC. Um, so unfortunately, you won't see the KYC on screen, but it's a fairly simple process. They're going to ask you, obviously, for things like your name, your address, um, and then you want to make sure that you are putting in your name as it shows on your ID. So you're going to have to load your ID up. Usually, they'll require that you do that on your phone. Take a selfie on your phone, and you have to rotate your head a little bit and all that good stuff. But what's going to be very important is that whatever is on your issued ID that you're going to use. You could use a passport, you could use your driver's license, you could use a residence uh, document or what have you. Just make sure that your name is the same as you're filling out the information as it is on your issued ID. Okay, so I'm going to click where it says exchange. It probably is not going to require me to do KYC again. It is going to take me to a third-party site. All right, so my Bitcoin address is in there, and I'm checking again just to make sure I've got the right Bitcoin address in there. Make sure that there wasn't some really smart hacker that did something I didn't want them to do. Okay, and I'm going to click Buy BTC. Now, because I've already done this, my card is already in the system. All right. So I don't have to put my card in the system again. But if I hadn't done this, I'd be adding my card. All right. So I'm simply going to left click here. I've got this little disclaimer here. So feel free to read this. I want to click I agree. All right. And so now this is going to tell me how much I'm buying. Okay. There's a transact fee of $3.07. There's a change now fee of 62 cents. There's a network fee. Okay. So you really want to consider having a little cushion. So if I'm doing $50 for this particular training. Well, I think I did 52 for this training. But if I really wanted $50, I put a little bit more. I would do a little more cushion. Okay. But I'm doing this primarily just for training, so we should be in good shape. I'm going to click confirm. It's going to take me to Visa Secure because I'm using a Visa card. Okay, so that went through. All right. Fairly simple. Now, if it's your first time doing this, again, you're going to have the KYC part. That might be a little cumbersome initially. All right. But you should be able to get through that with very little problem. Again, the big thing is to make sure you are using you're putting your name in the little I guess I'll call it a little application piece. Okay, where they're asking you for your information, make sure you put your name in as it appears on your issued ID, your government issued ID. Okay, all right. So now we're just going to sit back and we're going to wait for the Bitcoin to show up. All right. So once the Bitcoin shows up, then what we're going to do is we're going to come right back to change now. Okay. So once the Bitcoin shows up, okay, we're going to come right back to change now. And now we're going to exchange or swap, okay, or convert. Again, I may say any of those three, and they mean the same thing and they mean the same thing to me, okay, when it comes to this process. So we didn't buy a Flare only because that was not available at the time. I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm waiting for the Bitcoin to come to my Atomic wallet. Once it does, then we will effect a swap, an exchange of Bitcoin back to of Bitcoin to Flare, of Bitcoin to Flare. We'll stay off screen until that happens, and then we'll be back. By the way, let's pay attention to the time it is right now. I'm cutting this video at 11:38 p.m. Now, hopefully, this happens in the next few minutes. I actually have um, a Zoom at midnight my time. Okay, although it's midnight my time, it's not midnight all across the globe. So I do have a Zoom here in a few moments. So hopefully this has transacted in terms of at least me having the Bitcoin before I take about an hour out for the Zoom. All right, so we will be back. And oh, by the way, once again, you can see in my Atomic wallet, very little Bitcoin, only about 46 cents worth of Bitcoin. When we come back, you should see, what was it, about $48 or something to that effect that I'll be receiving. Maybe less, a few extra fees on the receive end. So we'll be back in a few minutes. The Bitcoin is here now. All right. You can see what do we have, like 46 cents initially, and now we're at $47.57. You may actually see your Bitcoin in this example, since we use Bitcoin so that we can transfer it or convert it over to Flare. You may see it show up much quicker than what this page will show. All right. So this page is kind of static. It's not saying anything, right? It may take a little while longer before this registers that you have your Bitcoin. Okay. Now, when I come back here, I'm going to click just in this section again on atomic wallet.io. And this is going to show me all my transactions. This is the one I'm waiting for. Now, how do I know that I'm waiting? You see how all of these other ones have this little green check mark? Okay, that tells me that those transactions are completed. This transaction with the Bitcoin being sent to me is not yet fully verified. So I can't send it out yet, or I can't um, swap it just yet. So I'm going to be waiting for this to have a little green check mark. That's how that works in Atomic wallet.io. Not in all wallets out there, but if you do decide to use Atomic Wallet, I want you to understand, right now I wouldn't be able to send out any Bitcoin for a little while. Okay. All right. So we'll be back. Hey, family. So we are back. Now, this was the Change Now page, and we had already seen that in Atomic Wallet um, that the funds were there, but we were waiting for the screen check here for everything to settle, and they did. Again, it actually didn't take all that long, but I had to jump on that other Zoom. All right. So now what we're going to do, all right, because the whole object is to get Flare, right? We couldn't buy Flare coming off the street because they didn't have Flare available for us to buy. So we bought Bitcoin instead. Now, you can do a couple of things in both Exodus and Atomic Wallet. You can exchange assets right here. Okay. You can exchange assets right here. Now, a lot of times, however, Exodus and Atomic Wallet may have a higher minimum that you have to exchange for other assets. So that's why we're going to go back to changenow.io. Plus, there's a very high network fee right now to exchange that Bitcoin with Flare. But let me just show you. If that were not the case and you wanted to do Flare, you would simply go from Bitcoin, and right here it's got USDT. You would right click here and you'd put in Flare. All right. Now we're not going to do that because this is a very high network fee. Okay. All right. What we are going to do is we're going to go back to our wallet. We're going to click again on Bitcoin, and we're going to click send so we can get a sense of how much we're going to be able to send. Now, once again, we've got a very high network fee. But you come over here with Atomic Wallet, you can set the fee. What we want to do is we want to stay in this 1 to 15-minute time frame. This is estimating how long it should take for us to send Bitcoin. We're going to be sending Bitcoin to changenow.io. So before I get the address and do any of that, I want to see how far down we can get this fee and still stay within this 1 to 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to click set fee. All right, and you see this little sliding bar here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to this right here. We're going to pay attention to all of this right here. I'm really more interested in lowering this while still maintaining this. Okay? All right. So we're going to use this little sliding bar. All right, so pay attention. So you see this amount is being lowered from $25 and some change. All right. But we're still at 1 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to keep lowering that. We're still at 1 to 15 minutes. So you see, all right, we've already saved $10 there. Now we're down to $10, still high, but we've saved $15. Want to keep this at 1 to 15 minutes. This is coming down. Good. Now we're all the way down to $1.50. Look, we just saved, 20 some odd dollars here, and it doesn't look like it's going to cost us any more time. All right. So this is where we moved at 4. So I'm going to move this up to 5. There we go. So now we're less than $1. Now that makes a lot of sense. Now, the reason we did that is we need to know how much BTC we're going to be able to send. All right. So this says based on these parameters here, we can send 0.000837. Now I want to give a little cushion in case things changed here. So I'm going to do 0.0008. That's what I'm going to send in. 0.0008. I needed to get this first before I initiate the exchange with Change Now. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to Change Now. All right. So now I know that I'm going to be doing 0.0008. Let me just make sure that I got my zeros there right. Yes, 3 zeros. You see that? 837. I'm not going to do the 37. I'm using that 37 as a cushion. And then I want Flare. Little down arrow. I'm going to type in Flare. Left click right here where it says Flare or FLR. And I'm going to get 2,753 Flare coins. All right. Now I'm going to click where it says Exchange. Now what I need to do is I need to put in my Flare payout address. There's actually Flare in Atomic Wallet. There's Flare in my Exodus wallet. Now, some of you may not have Flare in your Exodus wallet. I don't get that. I don't understand that, but I guess it depends on the jurisdiction that you're in. So I've been sharing with our training about using MetaMask. So I'm going to come up here to MetaMask. I'm going to left click on the little fox thingy. You see I'm on the Flare network. Okay, so you want to make sure you're on the Flare network and not, let's say, Polygon. You see the difference there? Okay, so I want to be on the Flare network. Now you can see I already have some Flare here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a quick screenshot of this. So I already have 16,092.57 Flare. So we're going to be adding like 2,700 and some change when we do this particular swap. All right. Oh, I need to get my address. Okay, that's what I came here for. All right, so my address is going to be up here. Now, I'm not going to show the entire address to protect myself, and I'm simply going to paste it there. Again, I won't show it all. I always check the first 4 or 5 digits on the front end, the first 4 or 5 digits on the back end, just to make sure that I pasted the right address. Now you don't see this. I'm blocking this out again to protect myself. And then I'm simply going to click exchange. And you can always read all this other stuff down here. Okay. And so when this completes, it's going to send the Flare straight to my MetaMask. It's going to send Flare straight there. All right. Now what I have to do, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. I've got to send in my Bitcoin. Okay. So I've got to send in 0.0008 Bitcoin. And so I'm going to grab the Bitcoin address that I'm sending it to. All right. So I'm coming back over to my Atomic wallet. I'm going to paste the address that I just got from the system. I'm going to verify G9MM. No, GMRM. There we go. GMRM. GMRM BC1Q. BC1Q. Okay, so I'm sending it to the right place. How much am I sending? 0.008. And you see, I did that wrong. Okay. It's telling me I need more BTC, and it's giving me BTC Bitcoin, and it's giving me what my amount is in US dollars. So I put that in wrong. I'm going to go back, just verifying what I should have. 3 decimals behind the zero. I'm sorry, three zeros. There we go. Behind the decimal. It's late my time, not as sharp. Okay. All right. So 0 there. There we go. All right. Now I want to make sure that this is still on a low network fee. One time I did this and it must have reset itself because it took me back to a high network fee. So I'm still on the low network fee, only paying 93 cents. All right. This tells me how much I have available. The Atomic wallet, they require me to put my password in. Going to confirm. All right. That was successfully sent. I'm going to go back to my wallet. And you can see that that is on its way. So this is going to take a little time here. I'm going to come off screen and let you see when this is taken shape. And we know it's going to go straight to my MetaMask wallet. in the form of additional flare. We'll be back. As folks, you can see that the deposit's been there. The deposit's been sent. It's been confirmed. It's exchanging. And now it's in process of being sent to me. Okay, folks. So looks like this is finished. Let's go over to our MetaMask. And there you can see. All right. So where were we before? 16,092. And so now we can see what we started off with, 16,092, and where we are now, 18,844. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do in the next module, I'm going to now show you, now that we have some more flare. So I wanted to show you how to get flare. Okay. Now that's not the only way to get flare. ChangeNow.io is not the only place. And obviously we didn't buy flare off the street because they didn't have it available. I like to use Cash App a lot in terms of buying Bitcoin, and I can now send that Bitcoin over to ChangeNow.io and swap it out for Flare and send it right there to my MetaMask. So there's a number of ways. Some people have reported that they've used Coinbase. Others have used crypto.com. Others are using their exchanges, maybe Binance as an example. Okay, some people are buying Flare right off the street. I know we had someone from the U.S. That bought Flare right from their crypto.com account. I think they even used their phone to do it. And they posted in Telegram, easy peasy. Okay, so a number of different ways to get your Flare. And what we're going to do in the next training is show you, okay, now that you have some flare, how do we move that into Billion Dollar Mind for the purposes of you being able to make your donations. All right, with that being said, we love each and every one of you. Let's transform the world together, starting with yours.